get them started. Damn, I'm on time. WHGE 95.3 FM. Coming up, the Open Eye. All right, let's get them started. Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or ego diddling. We do so because the chains of oppression on our people's minds are deep and difficult to remove. Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm your host, Third Eye Optometrist, Patrice Gibbs. That's right, I am here to get it started, to get your eye open if it isn't already. If it is, I'm going to enhance that. WHGE 95.3 FM. Oh, wait a minute, where is it? Oh, I'm going to get my disclaimer out the way right now. Here we go. The views and opinions expressed on Open Eye are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the policy or position of WHGE 95.3 FM, nor our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by Open Eye's hosts, guests, or contributors are theirs and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, company, or individual. WHGE 95.3 FM, and as I always do, start right here. Every generation has its purpose. Ours is to reveal the truth and reverse the brainwashing. All right. And that's what we do here, reverse the brainwashing. You know, the chains are difficult to remove. It took centuries to enslave our minds. Yesterday was December 1st. Significant date. Yes, on that day, Richard Franklin Lennox Thomas Pryor III was born. I think he would be 83 if he was living. He's a comedian, writer, actor. He was born in Peoria, Illinois. How many of you didn't know that? After his discharge from the Army in 1960, Pryor began working as a professional comic in clubs throughout the Midwest. In 1963, he moved to New York City and began to gain national recognition and appear on television variety shows such as The Ed Sullivan Show, The Tonight Show. He appeared in his first movie. Whoa, wait a minute. Oh yeah, he appeared in his first movie, The Busybody, in 1967, and recorded his first album, Richard Pryor, in 1968. Over his career, Pryor won Grammy Awards for Best Comedy Album for That N-Word's Crazy, Is It Something I Said, Bicentennial N-Word, Reverend Do Right, and Live on Sunset Strip. He also won the Emmy Award for writing in variety or music in 1974 for a Lily Tomlin television special. Pryor appeared in more than 50 movies, including Wild in the Streets, Lady Sings the Blues, The Wiz, Superman 3, and the semi-autobiographical JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling. Pryor published his autobiography, Prior Convictions and Other Life Sentences, in 1995. Pryor won the first Mark Twain Prize for American Humor from the John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Arts in 1998. Richard Pryor died December 10, 2005. He was posthumously honored with the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2006. Pryor is listed #1 on Comedy Central's list of all-time greatest stand-up comedians, and rightfully so. Furious Cool, Richard Pryor in the World That Made Him was published in 2013. Yes, indeed, Richard Pryor is, without a doubt, the greatest stand-up comedian that ever did it. All right. Before we get into some of the hard stuff, there's another cat I want to talk about here. There's something you have to understand. James Brown was not put together in a studio by a promoter, like most of these handmade groups that are out here today. James Brown was born out of a need to survive. He didn't start dancing because he liked to dance. He did it to get nickels and dimes from soldiers. I mean, that's what this kid did. He came from nothing. Brown was notoriously meticulous. Whoa. Excuse me. All right. Brown was notoriously meticulous with the development of his career. Writing, recording, touring, and performing 6 nights a week. He demanded the same loyalty, attention to detail, and work ethic from everyone on his team, from the backup dancers to his percussionists. In fact, he would fine his band members for missing notes or performing with on-shine shoes. He was hard-headed, he was a perfectionist, and the people around him were very professional, even subservient. In his presence, everyone referred to him as Mr. Brown or Mr. James Brown. No one called him James, no one. And he treated people with the same respect. Everyone was a Ms. or a Mr. That's James Brown. Yeah, and I heard about how he would fine his band members. But then you know what he would do? He'd take you around the corner and give you your money back. Yeah, that was James. Mental slavery is the worst form of slavery. It gives you the illusion of freedom. It makes you trust, love, and defend your oppressor while making an enemy of those who are trying to free you or open your eyes. I can tell you there is much truth in that. I know it being the third eye optometrist. WHGE 95.3 FM, the open eye. All right. Brother Mishbah, hey, how you doing, brother? All right. WHGE 95.3 FM, the open eye. Your third eye optometrist here, Patrice Gibbs. It's interesting that words matter. Propaganda matters. And one of the things that white supremacists have done is to try to make woke a bad word. They're against anything woke. And what they have done is, when they say woke, They specifically mean anything that's going to benefit black people. Okay? This is especially so in Florida with the Grand Wizard of the Banana Republic of Florida, Ron DeSatan. Especially true with him. He has actually tried to make woke a bad word, you know, and what he's done is, in the minds of white supremacists, woke has become equated with the N-word. Anything woke is the N-word. You know, they ban books in Florida. They ban anything. Toni Morrison banned her books. Anything by Dr. King, ban that. Frederick Douglass's autobiography, ban that. They don't want it in schools. Anything woke. Let me tell you something. 10 attributes of a woke mind. Number 1 on the list. You read books and don't burn them. Another thing wokeism is against is scientific fact. You know, they go with this pseudoscience and what have you. Look, I heard the orange disaster actually say that windmills are killing whales. Windmills are killing whales. They run these windmills, and what it does is that wind, you know, somehow it gets into the ocean and it over-oxygenated the whales and it kills them. Furthermore, this is pseudoscience here, windmills cause cancer. This is what the orange disaster said. Windmills cause cancer. Now, one of the things about windmills is they provide clean energy. It's part of the green movement. To wean us off of fossil fuels that does a lot of damage environmentally. Windmills. Now you gotta wonder, where did he come up with that? Well, let me tell you something. You know, he has a golf course in Scotland. And off the coast of that golf course are windmills. And he said that these windmills ruin the ambiance of his golf course. And he's hated windmills ever since. And ever since then, he's been speaking against windmills and making stuff up and telling people not to embrace science. Now these idiots, these MAGA followers, these Trumpsters and what have you, had got in their head that it's a conspiracy to cause cancer that had clean energy provided by windmills. Jesus, and you can't convince them otherwise. 10 attributes of a woke mind. Number 3, you're willing to change your mind when new information is available. That's called learning. When you get new information, it should change your thought process. That information can be proven and you are shown that that information may oppose what you originally thought. But that information is the truth. You should be able to change your mind. You understand that most issues, attribute number 4, that most issues are not black and white. There's always a gray area. Okay? That takes thinking to understand that. You believe in true equality for all people. You know, all people not stand on equitable ground. But there should be true equality for all people. You have empathy. That means you give a damn. I see so many people without empathy that cannot look at someone, you know, that's downtrodden, ill, or not just doing well in life and have absolutely no empathy, no way to relate to them. It makes me think of Kwame Ture and what he said about appealing to people's morals. For those of you that don't know, Kwame Ture is better known, formerly known as Stokely Carmichael. And what he said was about appealing to people's morals. You can't appeal to people's morals that don't have no morals. Attributes of a woke mind. Number 7, you embrace cooperation. That's something we in the black community really need to grasp hold of. Collective purpose does not mean thought control. Seeing someone move us forward in a way that you may not understand does not mean that they need to be shut down. If we cooperate amongst ourselves, we can move forward. Respect others' rights. Okay, I may have my criticism about your religion, but you got the right to practice that. I may not agree with your lifestyle, but that's up to you. As long as your lifestyle isn't harming others, you have that right. Okay? You may be Asian and, came here through Europe into New York City, blue, blah, bam, or whatever. You have the right to live. It's my duty to respect that. Number 9, you believe culture and the arts have value. Now, I've heard people say, African American culture is crime and drugs. No. African American culture, not unlike other cultures, it's about family. It's about creativity. It's about advancing our people. Okay? And when I say, you believe culture and the arts have value, we are some of the most creative people on the planet. The whole planet plays our music. You care for the planet. Okay? So you don't get mixed up in pseudoscience and believe that fossil fuels actually benefit. You don't get up in pseudoscience and think that climate change is a conspiracy theory. It's happening. And you're willing to explore this and do something about it because you give a damn about Mother Earth. WHGE 95.3 FM, Dove and I. Where we at? There we go. Hey, Brother Morris. I see you there, boy. All right. Damn, that's funky. Yes, it is. All right. WHGE 95.3 FM. Dove and I am Patrice Gibbs. There is only one birthplace for humanity, and that is Africa. That is what all of the credible evidence tells us. And if white people had not convinced us that Africa is the worst place there ever was, we would not even be having this discussion. Our enemies love it when we deny our roots. A brother told me that he rejected the name Africa because he heard, yes, that's pseudoscience, he heard It was named by a Roman general. He said he was a Native American. Now, first of all, Africa was not named after a Roman general. The Roman general was named after Africa. But America was named after the Italian explorer and devil, Americo Vespucci. So my question is, how can you reject Africa so quickly and then readily embrace the term Native American? What the hell's wrong with you? Think, my people, think. Wake up. Let's face it. A lot of us are just taught from cradle to the grave to be anti-African. And we do it instinctively because white folks have taught us to. And some of us would rather be anything other than an African. It's a damn shame. So we choose words like Moor, Negus, Native American, Hebrew Israelite, Asiatic black man. We should strive to be honest and consistent. Otherwise, we are just playing with ourselves. Don't run from Africa, run to Africa. Those are words from Dr. Runoko Rashidi. Rest in power, brother, one of our greatest scholars. Yes, indeed. How can we allow others to define us when they don't even see us as human? You know, one of the things we got to get away from is giving their scholars, Western academics, more credibility than our own scholars. You know, they don't even think we're human. And that's real crazy when their own science shows that they are not Homo sapiens. Not full-blooded. The only full Homo sapiens come from Africa. Their science says this, not me. I don't know where the hell they came from. But their DNA shows, and this is from their own scientists, like I said, it's not pseudoscience, it's not something made up, it's something well-researched, that they are Neanderthals. And I'll tell you something that many people are not aware of. But human zoos used to be quite a common thing in the Western world during the 19th and early 20th centuries. What these zoos consisted of were tribesmen from various corners of the world put on display for the entertainment of others. Instead of cages, these indigenous people were placed in habitats that were supposed to be similar to their place of origin, and in exchange for this cruel slavery, they were given the bare minimum to survive. These people were treated like animals, and in some cases even worse. And the man behind this ideal was Carl Hagenbeck, a German animal merchant who even started the famous Hagenbeck Zoo in Hamburg, Germany. During the 19th century, he had the ideal of exhibiting tribes from around the world in a similar way as animals. He knew that the Western population would pay good money to see these exotic tribes in their natural habitat for their own entertainment. Oda Benga was an Mbuti Congo pygmy man, known for being featured in the exhibit at the 1904 Louisiana Purchase Exposition in St. Louis, Missouri, and as a human zoo exhibit in 1906 at the Bronx Zoo. Benga was purchased from African slave traders by the explorer Samuel Phillips Varner, a businessman searching for African people for the exhibition, who took him to the United States. While at the Bronx Zoo, Bengal was allowed to walk the grounds before and after he was exhibited in the zoo's monkey house. This is what they think of us. Bengal was placed in a cage with an orangutan as a lampoon on Darwinism. To embrace the primitive image and presumably protect himself as if need be from the ape, he was given a functional bow and arrow. He used this instead to shoot at visitors who mocked him. I don't blame him. And partially as a result of this, the exhibition was ended. Yeah. That's right. That's what he did. He took that bow and arrow and started shooting at them white people, mocking him in the cage. It's like, oh, we got to put a stop to this. Except for a brief visit to Africa with Verna after the close of the St. Louis Fair, Bengal lived in the United States, mostly in Virginia, for the rest of his life. African-American newspapers around the nation published editorials strongly opposing Bengal's treatment. Robert Stewart MacArthur, spokesman for a delegation of black churches, petitioned New York City Mayor George B. McClellan Jr. for his release from the Bronx Zoo. These devils had to be petitioned to let this man out of the damn zoo. In 1906, the mayor released Benga to the custody of James H. Gordon, who supervised the Howard Colored Orphan Asylum in Brooklyn. In 1910, Gordon arranged for Benga to be cared for in Lynchburg, Virginia, where he paid for his clothes and to have his sharpened teeth capped. This would enable Benga to be more readily accepted in local society. Benga was tutored in English and began to work at the Lynchburg tobacco factory. He tried to return to Africa, but the outbreak of World War I in 1914 stopped all ship passenger travel. Behind this, Benga fell into a deep depression and died by suicide in 1916. You like the Hunger Games? Yeah? This is what they think of us. And still to this day, this is what they think of us. Yeah, I saw this white man talking about being against abortion. And what he said was, abortion is so prevalent in the black community. Why let these black people die? Why let these black babies be killed? Because, we know that abortion is primarily a white woman's issue. He said, black babies are being aborted in record numbers. Why let them die when I can just buy them? Wouldn't it be better to let me buy them and put them to work than have them aborted and killed? This is 2023, damn near 2024. And they're still trying to find ways to enslave us and put us back on the plantation. I'll be damned. You think our ancestors fought against that vehemently? Which they did, in spite of some of the foolishness we hear from our own people. Try that crap now. We packing. WHGE 95.3 FM, Dove and I. You know, it's something. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. Patrice Gibbs here, third eye optometrist. You know, it's something when the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, which gave the states the right to decide, whether or not abortion was legal. And of course, in some of these right-wing states, they went buck wild with threatening to give people a lot of time for abortion. Some states, Oregon, I think it was, I talked about recently how doctors and caregivers, medical workers are getting the hell out of there because you can get more time for an abortion than you can just about any other crime, drug dealing, whatever, murder, What really motivates them is their birth rate. Caucasians have a below zero birth rate. And this scares the hell out of them because this is the road to them being the minority in this country, which they fear more than anything because they think that if black people are in a position of power and have any power over them, we're going to put them on the plantation and treat them the way they treated us. Because we're a humane people and don't do that kind of crap. But yeah, it's the fear of replacement, the fear of being replaced that motivates them. Put a stop to white women getting abortions. But there's another side to this, another nefarious, evil thing that these white supremacists are practicing. It's shocking the kind of treatment that is handed out to black people in America in this 21st century. Many of us have read of the sterilization of African American people in the early and mid 1900s. But we didn't imagine it would still be going on now. In California, of all places, it's been reported that prison doctors have sterilized over 150 black women. And the reason has been that the American system doesn't want to have to provide welfare funding for any children these women may have in the future. This is one of the states where this is going on. The ungodly sterilization procedures cost California taxpayers $147,000 between 1997 and 2010. The doctors at the prison have argued that it is money well spent. An OB/GYN doctor, James Heinrich, at Valley State Prison for Women said over a 10-year period that isn't a huge amount of money compared to what you save in welfare paying for these unwanted children as they procreated more. $147,460 over 13 years. That is money well spent. It's not a huge amount compared to what you save in welfare paying for these unwanted children. Although these procedures may seem harsh, it is surprising to find that they are not illegal in the United States. It's not illegal. A Supreme Court ruling in 1927 states that women can be forcibly sterilized in jail in Buck versus Bell. Yeah. This was defended upheld by the Supreme Court, that anyone that white supremacy society considers unworthy can be forcibly sterilized. As if they aren't doing enough to harm our women. Because I will tell you that healthcare, doctors, the medical association is to black women what cops are to black men. Oppressive and murderous. In a shocking defense for the majority Supreme Court Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. said, 3 generations of imbeciles are enough. Okay? Who the hell do these people think they are? Playing God. 3 generations of imbeciles are enough. Holmes wrote, "We have seen more than once that the public welfare may call upon the best citizens for their lives. It would be strange if it could not call upon those who already sap the strength of the state for these lesser sacrifices, often not felt to be such by those concerned in order to prevent our being swamped with incompetence." In California prisons, the jail women are not necessarily being forced to undergo sterilization. But the women say they get coerced and pressured by the doctors to make the decision. One of them may say, "I figured that's just what happens in prison. That's the best kind of doctor you're going to get." They're not being forced. They're just being coerced and pressured. Coercion and pressure is force. Because if you don't let us sterilize you, we ain't never going to let your ass out of jail. You're not going to be out here birthing up some imbeciles, sucking up the government money. That's their mindset. There's a regulation in California that requires the state to approve each sterilization procedure. Doctors at the prison were able to cut corners and get around that, however. The prison medical manager said she signed off on the sterilization procedures since Heinrich listed them as a medical emergency. Y'all gotta hurry up and get rid of this black ass. It's an emergency. Do you think these sterilizations are wrong? On one hand, the very ideal is somewhat disturbing. On the other hand, however, it likely does prevent more generations of expensive children exposed to drug and crime-filled lives. That's their mindset. It beats the imagination to see humans playing God in the lives of other human beings. How does one determine or know that a child is going to be useless or a burden to society just because his or her parents have a negative past? Or are from a group of marginalized people? Who says an ex-convict cannot give birth to a child who can later become an icon and role model to the society? Procreation is nature's gift, and everyone, no matter their wrongdoing or right doing, should own the right to decide to procreate if they so choose. What the government should focus on is creating equal rights and justice for the African American in America. The government should reduce the victimization of black people so that the risk of them being imprisoned for little or nothing would be eliminated. This is called genocidal activity. This is what they do. They have a plan for us. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm Patrice Gibbs. Let me get that last line again here. What the government should focus on is creating equal rights and justice for the African American, for the African in America. The government should reduce the victimization of black people so that the risk of them being in prison for little or nothing would be eliminated. And what are we putting up with? This is why we need to get our thing together and educate our own children. There's a viral incident of a white high schooler punching a black girl in an alleged racist attack. It wasn't alleged, it was a racist attack. The white student in question has been slammed with a felony charge in connection with the incident. Shawnee Mission East High School sophomore Breonna Brown was seen in a video published by the Kansas City Defender confronting two white girls about using racial slurs. They just can't let it go. After they walked away, 15-year-old little white supremacist told Brown to shut the F up and started calling her the N-word. In the video, the boy pushed her, and the two got into a scuffle that resulted in Brown's nose being broken before a teacher finally broke them up. Yeah, he broke her nose. Brown told KSHB she didn't expect to get into a physical fight, but she was making split-second decisions in the moment. The thought in my head was either I protect myself or run away, or just get beat up. I didn't know what else to do, so I chose to stand up for myself. That's what the young sister said. Brown confirmed she was suspended following the incident. She was suspended following the incident. Now these three white girls walking around calling her a slave and want you back on the plantation and this, that, and the other. And when she stood up to them and stood them down, this white boy ran up on her and decided to physically assault her and broke her nose. And the school's reaction is that there will be no fighting in school. You were fighting too. Even though he called you the N-word and broke your nose, you're being suspended. Or he's being suspended too, if that makes you feel any better. Hell no. It was confirmed that she was suspended following the incident. Now, the white male student was charged with felony aggravated battery with great bodily harm, according to court records. He is scheduled to appear in court on December 6th. A criminal complaint alleges he unlawfully, feloniously, and knowingly caused great bodily harm or disfigurement. However, he was not charged with a hate crime. Calling the N-word and attacking her for being black and standing up for herself. He would not have even been charged if the Black Student Solidarity Network had demanded that something be done. The fight isn't over, and the students of Shawnee Mission East may consider this a victory following their protest earlier this week, criticizing the school for not giving a proper response regarding the incident. And that's how it always goes. Unless we stand up and make some noise about it. And they figure, well, them N-words didn't complain, so it's all right to do this. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. We'll be right back with Nsoromma. right, what's up, bro?
I hear you, bro.
Huh?
I hear you.
Oh, Lord of mercy.
When you called me, I didn't even know what time it was.
You didn't?
No.
Jeez Louise.
I said, boom. I looked at downstairs, looked at the man. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, buddy. Mm-mm-mm. All right. Nsoromma getting it set up here. All right. WHGE 95.3 FM, the open eye. Patrice Gibbs being joined here by my partner in consciousness, Nsoromma.
Chop.
How you doing, brother?
Well, go on.
All right,
Hello,
all right.
world. I hear you on, but I was coming in, boy.
Word.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. It's messy, man.
It is, man.
Yeah,
It is. You
They
know?
just got such of a big plan for us black people.
Yeah.
Man. Like
Yeah.
prison,
Mhm.
you know, just all kind of things
All
that don't go
kind of
along with ours. And
Yeah,
you know,
how about
that's
that?
crazy.
Yeah, indeed. They do it. They sure as hell ain't going along with our agenda.
Right. They definitely don't want to go along with our agenda.
No, they don't even want us to have no babies.
And that's crazy.
Yes, it is.
And they doing everything possible to take away the gene, the want to have family.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
So
deep,
you
man.
watch out there.
Yo,
Watch
that's
out
crazy.
there. You know? I know that what Nsoromma is alluding to here, and it bothers some of you. Okay? But, you know, when you consider what's being pushed in schools with our children. I saw a young lady,
Right.
22 years old, her first job as a teacher. She's teaching ballet
Okay.
to kindergartners, okay? 5 and 6 year olds,
Okay.
all right? And she said these are some of the most unruly children she ever seen in her life. She had no idea that they behave like this. These little black girls, she telling them, you know, take your spot over here to dance. I don't want to sit. I don't want to stand over there. And, you know, she plays the music that goes along with ballet dancing. We don't want to hear that. We want to hear pound cake. I didn't even know what the hell pound cake was.
Yo, lucky they ain't want to hear Sexy Red.
How about that? Well, ain't pound cake by Sexy Red?
I don't know.
Well, whatever it is, you know, I looked it up and I listened to this thing.
And they got they listen to some ratchet stuff.
Ratchet.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God, these little girls talk about listening to pound cake. And then when the girl, when the young lady, the young teacher confronts the parent about her child's behavior,
Right.
all right?
You see where she get it from.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, she tells one parent, one young lady, you know, your little girl won't take her place in line to dance. Well, why you keep bothering her about it? And that's not what she want to do. Are you kidding me?
I mean, that's the wrong mentality to have anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's,
Yeah. You know, it makes me think when I was tutoring at a school.
right.
And a young lady had been called in because her son was acting up.
Okay.
Okay? And me and the vice principal were standing outside the school when she came and walked up to us and asked her where this teacher's room was.
Right.
Okay, well, it's up the steps, you know, to the 3rd floor, down that long hallway and down the other long. I'm not walking all the way down there. What?
Like it was an option.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay? You're not going to go and have a conference with this teacher about your child's behavior. Okay? But because this child has no discipline and not being disciplined, and you're not taking the time out to discipline this child, you know, to give him any direction, when he's 16, 17, 18 years old, because Frederick Douglass said it's easier to prepare and discipline a child than it is to fix a broken man. Right. You wouldn't walk down that long ass hallway, but you're gonna be visiting him at Gander Hill in prison, and then crying the blues about him being in prison and he's being treated unjustly when you didn't prepare him to live a just life. As if we don't have enough with them putting false charges on us. Right. You're going to set your child up to get some real charges and spend time in jail.
Right. Because you don't want to walk an extra 100 steps, which you probably need to exercise.
Any goddamn way.
Boom. Yo, I mean, we have to do better, period. Period. All of us, really. You know what I'm saying?
That's one of them.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man.
That's what we know what we're up against. So we have to put ourselves in a position, prepare our generation to prepare the next generation, to prepare the next generation so that we survive.
And they are doing everything in their power to stop us from generating.
Yes.
All the way to teaching a 5-year-old, oh, you don't have to be a little male. You can be a little girl if you want.
Jeez Louise.
What? How is that in schools right now?
Yeah.
How are they even promoting that at 5 years old?
At 5 years old.
Come on, man. Yeah. I mean, it's set up, and we're the ones being attacked, and we ain't even defending ourselves.
No.
A lot of the parents and a lot of the community leaders and these people are not even on our side to even.
Yeah, they're going along with this.
Yes.
They're going along. You know, I seen a young mother talking about her child was nerdish.
Right.
Okay. And, you know, she liked computer stuff and this, that, and the other.
Right.
You know. And she didn't dress up like the other little girls so much.
Right.
You know. And the teacher told her, in order to fit in, maybe you need to explore your gender. Maybe you're non-binary. You know, I had to look that up. What the hell is non-binary?
And what's a non-binary?
Yeah, non-binary means that, you know, this little girl, you know, may not be a little girl in her heart and soul, in her mind.
Okay.
She's something other than a male or female.
Oh, no.
Yeah, non-binary, because, you know, binary is male and female. Non-binary is
you don't know what you want to do.
Yeah, you don't know what the hell you are.
I can just tell you something.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
You're non-binary.
God made you a boy and a girl, period. Yeah. Now, what's in your heart and in your mind, that's something else. That's not your genetics.
No.
That's emotions.
Well, this little girl was not gay. Okay. She was just one of those people that didn't fit in with everybody.
Right.
She needed to find her niche. She needed to find her crowd.
Right.
But this teacher decided that her crowd was going to be, you know, she's a male trapped in a girl's body.
Right.
And the little girl had no thoughts of that.
No, that wasn't even in her head.
Wasn't even in her head.
And that's what I'm saying. They injecting that into them, and by any means necessary.
But it's worse because when the parent found out, okay, the teacher called Child Protective Services and said she was abusing this child by not letting her choose her own identity, which the teacher had put in her head.
Yeah. In her mind.
Yeah. And this woman had to fight for a couple of years to get her child out of that situation.
I mean, the parents should have put charges on the teacher.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
And if the charges didn't work, she would have took her out back and whooped her ass.
Beep. Yo, man, listen.
WHGE 95.3 FM, Dove and I.
Brother Miss Bob, Vaughn, Tammy, what's good? Thanks for tuning in, you know what I'm saying? Open Eye Radio, you know how we do. Keep it going, you know what I'm saying? I know I got 17 jobs. I live far. And when he called me, I thought it was 10 o'clock. That's what's up, though. On everything.
WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma in the building.
All right. You know, we're coming around to the close here already, believe it or not. Okay, did you know that there have been 469 U.S. military inventions worldwide since 1798?
Wow.
469. The country is only about 250 years old, not quite 250 years old. Okay? Of those 250 some odd years, America has been at war 245 years. Wow. And running around doing interventions. Now, how do you explain U.S. intervention throughout the world? What are alternative explanations that the United States has gone in to defend democracy? No, they ain't. That can't be because America supports dictatorships in most of the countries that they claim to support democracy. They supported a fascist, Somoza in Nicaragua, a fascist, Batista in Cuba. Again and again, country after country, America didn't support democracy. America supported fascism and, in fact, overthrew democracies. They overthrew democracies in Guatemala when Arbenz came into power. They overthrew a democracy in Brazil when Goulart came into power.
Wow.
And each one of these countries, different leaders, different countries, different histories, different languages, different cultures, but they all had one thing in common. They were beginning to use the political system to tamper with and change the economic and class structure. What Allende was doing in Chile very democratically was redistributing some of the gross national income from those who made money from dividends and interest and commissions and rents to those who made money from wages, salaries, and hard-ass labor. He said, we're going to cut the money up right. These people are doing the work. They deserve a better share. You know what? Unemployment went down in Chile. Inflation was going down. The rate of inflation was going down. Buying power was increasing to the ordinary citizen.
Right.
Popular consumption was increasing the level of living and was bettering it in a modest way for the people. Every child in Chile was getting a half liter of milk under the Allende regime. And when America came in and offed him and put in the fascist Pinochet, the first thing he did was abolish the program to feed the children. And this is what the Americans supported.
You know, America don't take care of their own kids.
Hell no.
So you know other kids, you know, why should I care? Yeah, doesn't affect me.
And what are you doing?
Yeah,
why are you feeding these poor people?
Yo, oh my God.
Yeah.
Let them starve off.
Let them starve off.
Bury them where they lay.
You know, what you're doing is you're messing up the
ecosystem.
You're messing up the economy, and you're messing up our slave labor.
And you know they rent them, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's word.
Oh
These
my
people,
God.
man. I tell you what. Europe and America has contributed to Africa's ongoing poverty.
Okay.
But I want to tell you today, Africa has the resources, the ability, and the people to grow into an economic superpower. And I know that scares the hell out of white supremacy.
That's why they want to take it. They want to take it over. They want to get into the country.
That's where. It is the richest continent already in terms of natural resources. 30% of the world's cobalt, diamond, gold, and iron are in Africa. Let me stop and talk about cobalt. You remember what your summer day was like when you was about 11 years old?
Yeah. Lovely.
Fun all day.
All day. Butter, sprinkles, all of that.
All of that. The ice cream truck.
Yep.
Get up
with that messed up song.
Yeah. That messed up song.
All of that. All of that. We was being bamboozled back then too. But we had a better
we had a good time.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Could you imagine being 11 years old and have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go work in a mine?
Nah, because I didn't do it.
Yeah. And at 11 years old, talking about I ache all over.
Right. 11.
11. This is what's going on in the Congo.
Mm-hmm.
They've enslaved children. And guess what? You're complicit. And me too.
Right, because we ain't doing nothing to say, nothing bringing light to the situation, right?
That's word.
Wow.
And we got cell phones and computers and this, that, and
Right.
all the stuff that needs cobalt and coltan to run. If you don't need a new cell phone, don't get one. All right? But Africa also has huge wealth in oil. Nigeria produces more than 2.5 million barrels of oil a day. On the global market, 1 barrel is worth $52. You do the math. But you get the idea. Nigeria oil is worth a lot. And Africa already has a booming pharmaceutical industry, and huge progress is being made in fighting back against disease and infection in Africa and keeping out the World Health Organization. It's doing nothing, going over there poisoning people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. More and more African children are going back to school and are being provided with education and improving hygiene practices, which help to stop the spread of disease.
Right.
Africa is ideally located for global dominance in trading, with close trading connections in Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. I hear people, and I've looked at this closely myself, and some instances I'm like, ooh, this might be shaky.
Right.
You know, is China's involvement with Africa. Now, let me tell you the difference.
Gonna be shaky.
Yeah, but let me tell you the difference between China's involvement and the West's involvement. All the West did was suck out resources and make sure that Africa stayed underdeveloped.
Right.
Meanwhile, China is building ports, infrastructure, roads, helping
Taking
build
over.
factories.
They're taking over.
Well, what they're doing is they're putting the African in a position to run his own. See, what the European and the American did was they could sucked out the resources and did nothing for the African.
But the Chinese is giving them loans that they know they can't pay, so when they default, they just take over the property.
And a lot of African countries got hip to that.
Yeah.
And shut that crap down.
Yeah.
So the Chinese came back and said, okay, you hip.
I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
And it's still some underhanded sneaky stuff. I don't care. Just give me the dough or pay for what you're taking from our country. I mean, but
that's the thing, though. My point is,
what?
The Chinese come with a much more humane process of neocolonialism. What the Chinese don't do is they don't get involved in the politics. They don't give a damn who's running the country as long as we can do business with you.
Right.
Okay? So they're coming with a more humane thing.
We can make money with you. You good with us.
Oh, you good with us. We good with us. All right? Now, one of the things that the Americans and the Europeans complain about is the debt that they're in. And guess what? Africa don't do that. Because most African countries, all right, the African debt is only 9% of their GDP. All but 2 countries in Africa pay off their debt in 1 year. Okay, they keep their debt down.
Right.
So the potential is already there and the growth is already beginning. See? Anyone who doubts Africa can make quick economic progress like this should look at the economic history of the United States. In 1977, the U.S. economy was the same size as the African economy is today. And since then, the U.S. has grown by a massive $18.4 trillion. And with Africa having more natural resources than the U.S., its progress in the next 40 years could be even more spectacular.
It will be.
So if you're someone who thinks Africa will never catch up with the rest of the world, you will be proved wrong. With its mammoth population, massive potential, and amazing stores of resources, within your lifetime, Africa will become the world's economic superpower. Global African supremacy.
And it's already that anyway.
Yeah.
And on the maps, they have Africa. This is how
Yeah.
sneaky they are and undereducating our kids. You know, they had a map. Africa on the map is the littlest continent that they possibly could think of.
Right.
When it's bigger than all of the continents put together.
Put together.
And no one's saying nothing about that.
No. That's why you tune into the open eye. So
That's
you
crazy,
learn.
man.
That's word. And as we always tell you, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority.
Who treat you as an option.
WHGE 95.3 FM. Thanks for joining us.
Yo, Ro, Vaughn, Tammy, cousin John, what's up? Miss Bob, ayo, look, this is what we do, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, the global African supremacy, y'all. Like I always tell you, it's coming. It's here. Okay? Be ready. Participate in it. Because the world is a much better place when the black man rules. Peace.
Yo, streaming all platforms. Go get that. Nsoromma, Mr. Gibbs. You dig?